Breaking into the top tier of box office history is no longer a cultural accident. Today, it is a highly engineered financial event. This chart shows the top lifetime grosses at the global box office. If you look past the top 200 and focus strictly on the top 10, every single film on this list sits above a $1.69 billion threshold. For the people funding these projects, the goal is finding the exact combination of capital, genre, and market access that can reliably reach this specific financial ceiling. When a studio risks a $300 million production budget, following a proven formula becomes a requirement for survival. It explains why so many modern blockbusters share the same DNA. Look closely at the release years in this top 10 data. With one exception, every single film was released after 2009. That single massive outlier is 1997's Titanic. Titanic represents a different era of the blockbuster, a massive financial risk taken on a non-sequel story. Today, that approach has largely been phased out of the major studio system. To justify the hundreds of millions of dollars required to reach the $2 billion mark now, the industry has moved toward a more rigid, risk-averse model. This shift suggests a new operational rule. To protect an investment of this size, studios have moved toward a repeatable set of inputs designed to guarantee a massive financial floor. The first required input for a top-tier financial return is an investment in established intellectual property, or IP. Rather than testing new ideas, studios channel staggering amounts of capital directly into established franchises like Marvel or Star Wars. This specific investment secures built-in audience loyalty and generates pre-sale marketing momentum months before a film hits theaters. Because this loyalty spans across massive legacy universes, it ensures a generational turnout. The trade-off for this reliance is a rigid studio pipeline. Original, untested ideas are rarely granted top-tier funding because they lack that guaranteed opening weekend. IP functions as an insurance policy. It's the primary tool used to mitigate the risk of a $300 million production budget. The second required input is visual spectacle. These productions commit budgets of $250 million and years of post-production to create boundary-pushing visuals, a standard established by the Avatar franchise. This spectacle is required to drive audiences into premium-priced formats like IMAX and 3D. Because these tickets cost more, they artificially inflate gross revenue. A film can reach $2 billion without needing record-breaking individual ticket buyers. The financial trade-off here is significant. The break-even point for these films is so high that even a mild box office underperformance can create a crisis for a studio division. VFX spectacle acts as a powerful economic lever. It's specifically used to maximize the revenue extracted from every single viewer. The final pillar of the formula is global reach and broad animation. We are seeing a pattern of box office dominance from broad family demographics and franchise animation, as shown by the 2024 returns for films like Inside Out 2. Relying solely on the North American box office is no longer enough to reach the top. Studios must engineer films to perform in massive global markets. Films like Ne Zha 2 have reached the $2.2 billion mark by hyper-localizing to massive overseas audiences, specifically in the Chinese market. This global shift requires a specific approach. Filmmakers must often navigate complex foreign censorship boards or use broad themes to ensure their stories translate across cultural lines. The future of the $2 billion movie relies more on global demographic math and transnational accessibility than on traditional star power. The data shows a clear pattern. The top 10 list is now effectively closed off to mid-budget, original live-action storytelling. This flowchart maps modern film investments, starting with a prompt: are you aiming for the top 10? If yes, the path requires acquiring massive IP, premium visual effects, or global animation. If no, the target shifts toward mid-budget original or specialized studio models. Greenlighting a mega blockbuster is an infrastructural and macroeconomic choice, not just a creative one. For major studios and investors, the math suggests that embracing the IP and global animation formula is the only proven path to a $2 billion return, despite the extreme capital risk. For industry creatives and producers, if your primary goal is original storytelling, the all-time box office list is no longer the correct metric for success. Focusing on the high ROI mid-budget indie space or the streaming market allows for narrative risks that the mega blockbuster formula cannot afford. For the viewer, every movie ticket purchased is a direct economic vote for what the industry will produce next. The top 10 list represents a safe exchange of audience time for reliable spectacle. It won't change until audience spending habits begin to favor different types of stories.